All right, starting at the top of page 2 for section 1.8, we are going to now look at order of operations. So we started with some exponents. Now let's see how those fit into the order of operations. You'll see them right here at the second step. We remember this little sort of rhyme memory trick. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Recalling that the P stands for parentheses. The exponents show up right here in this second step, so we take care of any of the grouping symbols first. Parentheses, brackets, braces, the absolute value sign, the fraction bar, all those work as grouping symbols. Then we've got the exponents. Then we deal with multiplication and division. Notice I write it together because it's at the same time as they go from left to right as you go across the page. Okay. And then, of course, adding and subtracting, same thing. As you go left to right across the page, across the problem, you deal with those as they come together. Not all addition and then subtraction, just as it comes as you read left to right across the problem. Okay, and that's basically what that table says in so many words there. So let's look at what they ask us to do. Now these problems start to get bigger. They physically have a lot more going on. So I want you to take your time, deep breaths, take it one step at a time. This is how you're going to get really ready for the algebra, is to be able to see a big picture, zoom in on the parts that you need to focus on, and get yourself to the correct answer at the end. Use order of operations to simplify each expression, which means we're attempting to remove any parentheses and then combine like terms. In this case, all the like terms are going to be the constant numbers. We're going to be able to get this down to one value here. This is an expression. There's no equal sign. We aren't trying to solve, but our simplification, because it's all numbers, will get us to a final single numerical value for this. Okay, let's walk through our steps here. We've got 4 minus 6 squared minus 5 minus 9 squared. The square applies to everything that's happening in the parentheses. Order of operations says that we need to deal with those parentheses or those grouping symbols first. So I've got 4 minus 6. That's the same as 4 plus a negative 6. Different signs, subtract, you get 2, keep the bigger sign. You've got a negative 2 as your answer here, and that is going to be squared. Minus, let's look in this parentheses here, 5 minus 9 is the same as 5 plus a negative 9. Different signs, one's positive, one's negative. Subtract to get 4, keep the bigger sign. This is a negative 4 that's inside that parentheses that's going to be squared. So we took care of the grouping symbols, took care of what's inside the parentheses, and got a single value. Now let's use our definition of exponents to apply the powers of 2 here. So negative 2 squared literally means negative 2 times itself twice. Okay, then minus, again, we're squaring something, the negative 4 times the negative 4. Just highlight that that's what that exponent says to do. From there, negative 2 times negative 2, negative times a negative is a positive 4. Then we still have the minus sign. Okay, subtraction comes after we handle all this. Now we're doing multiplication. Okay, we rewrote the exponents as multiplication. You will get to the point where you'll get good enough at exponents. You won't necessarily have to write all this out. But for starters, we're just taking it one piece at a time here. So no little mistakes are going to trip us up. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. So now I've got a positive minus a positive. That is also the same as 4 plus a negative 16. So I'm subtracting 16 minus 4 is 12. I keep the sign of the bigger number. My answer is negative 12. Let's look at number 52. Parentheses, exponents inside the parentheses this time, plus a set of brackets. So we're going to need to tread carefully here and really follow strictly the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, the order of operations. You don't have to wonder, oh, what do I do next? The list will tell you, okay? So let's look for the innermost group here. We've got a grouping with the brackets, but we also have a grouping with the parentheses. That's where we want to start, is inside these parentheses. So I'm going to copy everything else that's there because nothing's going to change with the 11, the bracket, the 11, the minus 4. We're going to stay inside those parentheses. There's another bracket, there's a dividing by 37. None of that is going to change right now. But what we are going to work with is this 2 minus 3 cubed. In fact, the 2 stays that way as well as the minus. Remember when we said the cube does not, the power does not apply if the minus is just hanging out front there? It's as if it's being multiplied by -1. In here it becomes really clear because it's 2 minus this answer. Okay, we can't just throw the negative inside that power. It's 2 minus what you get after you take 3 cubed. So that 3 cubed becomes 3 times 3 times 3, and that answer is 27. So inside those parentheses now we have 2 minus 27. We need to stay there because that is what we need to deal with next here. So I'm going to keep the black writing here for everything that's not getting touched. And now we're just going to do the 2 minus the 27. That's like 2 plus a negative 27 is what we're looking at. Signs are different, so we subtract. That gives us 25. 27 minus 2 is 25. The bigger sign is negative, so that gives us a negative 25. So we still have this parentheses, but now there's nothing to do inside of it. So now we look inside of the bracket. The bracket is our next grouping symbol. Inside I have 11 minus 4 times that negative 25. So we're going to deal inside the bracket and take care of that multiplication first. And we're going to follow our own advice here and change this subtraction to adding a -4. Okay, so that there's no danger here of dropping any negatives. I'm going to start to kind of overflow into the try section. Let me just check how my videos do. I've got a couple more lines on the screen, so I think we can do it here. So we're adding the negative instead of subtracting. That way we know what to do with that negative sign. It's now attached to the -4. The -4 is going to get multiplied by the negative 25. That's a negative times a negative. So that's going to give me a positive answer here. So I still have my bracket, I still have my 11, and my divided by 37. My plus just comes straight down here, and I give my answer to the negative times negative. It's going to be a positive 100. Okay. Now we're starting to get close. There's only a few things left in the problem. Inside my group here is still where I focused, 11 plus 100, so that's 111 inside there. Divided by 37. And I think I have one more line left, but just to be safe, I'll just go ahead and send my answer out to the side here. Now the brackets are just holding its place here. There's no purpose for the brackets, so we can just say 111 divided by 37. It goes in evenly 3 times. And that is our answer for number 52. All right, we'll see you at the bottom of page 2.